Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. This series is dedicated towards discovering the history and the lore behind some of Final Fantasy's most iconic creatures and characters. This episode, we are taking a look at the Goblins of Final Fantasy. Before we talk about the Goblins of the series, let's first discuss what an actual Goblin is. Folklore from several parts of the world describe goblins as dwarf-like demons, usually possessing certain physical features such as a large nose, large ears, a grotesque face, and abnormally large hands for their size. More well known is their greed, always seeking out treasures from those they come in contact with, as well as their unique magical abilities. These traits, along with their mannerisms, change from culture to culture, though most often they appear in European and Asian folklore. They have become increasingly common in the fantasy genre in modern days, appearing in pretty much every role-playing game from Dungeons & Dragons to Warcraft to Final Fantasy. In Final Fantasy, the Goblin is most often a common creature encountered very early on in the game. It shares several physical and personality traits with its real-life counterpart, including its abnormally sized appendages and its greed, usually labeling goblins as being thieves. In some cases, it has also been mistaken for other demons, probably due to mistranslation issues. There are several variations of even the common goblins, with the protagonists of each game running into more powerful versions later in the game, though even these ones are usually not so threatening. Just watch out and don't let them steal your gil or your potions. Goblins made their appearance right in the first Final Fantasy as one of the weakest enemies encountered in the entire game. Even though some stronger versions would appear later in the game or in its Dawn of Souls remakes, it has never been considered to be a dangerous foe. Final Fantasies 2, 3, and 4 would all follow suit with incredibly weak goblins, though some variety of goblin would begin appearing in Final Fantasy 4. The Little Murderer, for example, would attempt to lure its target into using lightning attacks by revealing that its own weakness was to lightning, only then to counter any of these lightning-based attacks with a powerful attack of its own. This mischievous nature suits the Goblin, the only problem being that, unless you fall for its trick, it just sits there spamming you with the message and not actually attacking. The Goblin Prince could also attack 2 party members per turn, another unique trait. Final Fantasy IV also had these tougher goblins drop a Goblin Summon for Rydia, marking its first appearance as a summon in the series. The attack they use, Goblin Punch, would become one of their trademark moves going into future games. Final Fantasy V contains several weak goblins again, though they do teach Goblin Punch as a blue magic spell. And actually, goblins didn't even appear in Final Fantasy VI. In certain versions of the game, another demon-type enemy was called a goblin, but considering it shared almost no traits with actual goblins, it was renamed to Devil in the Game Boy Advance version. Final Fantasy VII would see the goblin enemy return, though only on specific islands accessible via chocobo or airship. While still incredibly weak, at least for a level 40 enemy, they did drop decent rewards, most notably a nut used in breeding the very rare gold chocobo. The Goblin would, surprisingly, skip Final Fantasy VIII and move into their super weak role in Final Fantasy IX. After one more hiatus in Final Fantasy X, they appeared as a beast race in Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI has often been the part of the Bestiary series where we need to go into more backstory for these creatures, and the Goblins are no different. They are a nomadic race of beastmen that can be found all around the continent of Vana'diel. At birth, a link pearl is surgically implanted into their ear so that they may communicate with each other wherever they go. Unlike other beastmen races, which focus mostly on war and territory, the Goblins have used their nomadic lifestyle to adapt to a variety of other lifestyles across the continent, trading with anyone interested in their goods. They have also mastered the art of smithing and can act as exceptional healers compared to the other beastmen. In their interactions with the enlightened races of Vana'diel, it has become known that if a goblin's name ends in IX or Ix, they are male, and if ending in OX or Ox, are female. While mostly nomadic, goblins are known for finding places they like and taking up that area as a territory. Some can be quite ornery towards the enlightened races of Vana'diel as well, attacking them on sight. This is likely an act of greed, as a weak adventurer is still sure to have some gil or items on them that the goblin may use in trading or crafting. A certain tribe of goblins, known as moblins, has even made an entire settlement in the Gustaberg region called the Movalpolos. These moblins possess additional skills to that of standard goblins, especially in the art of alchemy. Some of these moblins also travel to the Near East to work as mercenaries under the payment of the trolls. Moving on from Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XII didn't have goblins. It seems like they just said, let's just only use them every other game at this point. However, there is another creature called the Beknami, looks very much like a goblin and even uses the famed Goblin Punch ability. In Final Fantasy 13, goblins appear as these strange roller skate using, boxing glove wearing creatures with a gaping donut hole in the center of their body, appearing to be a mouth of some sort. They are native to Grand Pulse and as such are stronger than a vast majority of the early game enemies you fight beforehand. They're still not too strong compared to the other creatures on Grand Pulse, however. They reappear in the multiple sequels as well. Next is Final Fantasy XIV, where the goblins of Final Fantasy XI return due to their popularity in the previous MMO. They retain almost all of their previous traits, including their crafting skills, occasional desire to attack players, and especially their appearance. A subset of goblins have taken up shelter in the abandoned city of Charlayan, which they now call Idleshire. The most major difference is the existence of a tribe of goblins known as the Illuminati, who have the desire to be an all-knowing, all-seeing tribe that rules over the world from an iron fortress. This desire has eventually led them to summon their god, Alexander, into a castle trapped under a barrier in a lake near Idleshire. The story of Alexander is still unfolding, but if not stopped, this mobile fortress will suck all of the ether from the land, and life across Eorzea will perish while the Illuminati are safe within their castle. I'll have separate videos pertaining to this story alone in the near future. And finally, it's worth mentioning goblins appear in Final Fantasy 15. In episode Duske, the demo that was released some time ago, they are revealed to be a nocturnal race, hiding within caves during the day and venturing out at night to attack unsuspecting travelers. They are just as greedy and weak as they are in the early Final Fantasy games, with their model being an absolute homage to their original appearance in Final Fantasy I. They are able to steal potions from the party and attack with their knives and their famed Goblin Punch. Now, goblins are such a broad enemy across the fantasy genre that you know they're pretty much going to appear in every one of the Final Fantasy off titles as well, occasionally even appearing as a summon once again. It's a super common enemy, so no matter where Final Fantasy goes, expect goblins to be there too. Well, I guess except for the few times they decided not to include them, but you can't win them all. Thank you for watching Final Fantasy Bestiary. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and check out the rest of my Bestiary videos. Let me know what you think, and leave your ideas for future Bestiaries in the comments section of the video below. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, take care.